on. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the 1025 podcast. This is episode 11. We're starting off season 2, and y'all already know who I am. I'm Jordan. I'm joined by my two special friends, Kristen and Ayana. How y'all doing?
Good.
All righty. Now, today we're going to be talking about one of the weirdest events that I've ever seen in the past about 20 years of my life, right? So, of course, we all know what happened at Capitol Hill on January 6th. A bunch of Trump supporters basically went in and just raided the whole damn place. Excuse me. They was taking selfies with the guards, and they were doing just a boatload of stupid stuff.
Yeah.
It was just, when I first saw this footage, I just thought, what the hell was going on? So I want y'all to, first, I want to hear what you all have to say about this whole situation. Then y'all hear my thoughts about it.
You want to go first, Kristen?
No, you can go first.
Honestly, I think it's exactly what I expected. It's exactly what I expect from people who have such ideologies of the country, and I think that it was just a matter of time before something like this blew up. And it's unfortunate that it happened on such a day that was as important as it was. But I can't really say that I'm too surprised at the actions of them, knowing that they followed someone like Donald Trump. It was completely out of control. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. Kristen?
And I think they were really trying to go there to send a message, and they really took away from the events of the day. A lot of them came in with anti-Semitic symbols like Nazi flags and everything. They came with white supremacist symbols like their Confederate flags.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And someone even went as far as stealing Nancy Pelosi's laptop.
Yeah, and I think her podium as well.
Right.
It's just like, what the hell is wrong with y'all? Now, when I first was watching this footage with my mom, she brought up a very interesting idea. She told me if this was Black Lives Matter, it would have been a whole different story. I don't even think nobody would have been arrested. In my opinion, it would have been like a damn massacre, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody getting killed, thrown in jail, all that. And I like that how, Kristen, you mentioned the Confederate flag, right? Because I feel like it was weird. You're calling yourselves patriots, but you're carrying a symbol that pretty much succeeded from the Union, that made the United States united. And it caused conflict and, of course, killed millions of people. And that flag really represents traitors of the USA. That's like if somebody was like a gang member or something. Let's say they were like a blood gang member, right? And then they rolled up into a neighborhood wearing a Crip, flag or whatever. Or even in simpler terms, because I know we ain't about that street life. It's like, imagine walking into McDonald's with a Burger King wrapper, like a Whopper wrapper. The hell is wrong with you? Now, when I was watching it, it was weird that Donald Trump called his supporters patriots, and then this is coming from the same person who pretty much called BLM protesters like extremists, like terrorists and thugs and all that type of stuff. I never understood why someone, and he pretty much for the past 4 years, he kind of carried himself like a tyrant, basically. Like, I thought of him very similar to, of course, I mean, I don't want to say Adolf Hitler, sort like a more douchebag version of Adolf Hitler, maybe. Even fictional character like Megatron and the Trump supporters were his Decepticons and all that type of shit. I just don't understand what's going on with him. And there's even a quote that I pulled up before this episode, and it kind of reminded me of James Baldwin, right? So he says, if any white man in the world says, give me liberty or give me death, the entire world applauds. When a black man says the same thing, they're basically characterized as a criminal and all that type of stuff. So basically, the supporters, they were being like, oh yeah, doing all this crazy retarded stuff, and then he calls them patriots. But when people are actually trying to fight for their children's future, growing up black in America, and even just being a minority in general, oh, you're an extremist, you're a thug, you're just a horrible, horrible person. And I also want to say, congratulations to Eugene Goodman. He was the police officer who kind of lured those idiots away from the Capitol building or something like that. And yeah, and then going back to, the Confederate flag thing, it's kind of weird that the people who chanted Blue Lives Matter and then All Lives Matter, they're basically now clashing with the cops, basically. Like,
Right.
this is the same people who y'all was all supportive and, oh my God, police officers, they matter too. But now, since your boy can't get his way, it's like, this is stupid. This is stupid. Yeah.
And I think that is a important. It's just some things like that have always bothered me because, they'll turn around and say, "Oh, I'm a nationalist. I'm a patriot. I live for my country," and then they'll run around with a Confederate flag, saying that they're just supporting their Southern heritage when, one, you're supporting a loss. I cannot imagine why you would support losing the Civil War. But
Yeah.
on top of that, if they are celebrating their Southern heritage like they claim to be, they would have done their research, they would have done their homework, and they would have known that the Confederates were as un-American, as anti-American as you could get. And, if you support racism, just say that. Don't hide under this umbrella of the Confederacy, which isn't even around anymore. It's no longer an organization for a reason.
Right.
And it's blatantly obvious that these people have these just preconceived notions of brown and black people, and how they know that they can get their way around the country no matter what they say and what they do. Because just like you said earlier, Jordan, had it been black people who would storm the Capitol, had it been Black Lives Matter protesters, it would have been a bloodbath. There would be no arresting. There would be no the FBI looking for tips to search for people. It would be none of that. They would have taken immediate action. There's no reason for the National Guard and all those police officers to wait for the president to appear on the scene when that should have been the immediate reaction. You've got hundreds of people storming into the Capitol building on such an important day with pipe bombs, with assault rifles, threatening to kidnap people. They're coming in with zip ties, and it's obvious that their main priority is destruction. They went in and they destroyed all types of things. They tore up Nancy Pelosi's, office. They took things from her office. They took her podium. They knew what they were going to do, and they knew what they were going to leave with. And it's surprising to me that even 4 people didn't make it out of there with their lives. It's surprising that out of all the people who had shown up that day, only 4 people lost their lives. Had it been any other group of people, it would have been a completely different story. And for those saying that this isn't America, this isn't what we're about, this isn't what we're known for, this is exactly what we're known for. This is exactly what history has shown throughout the course of the founding of this country. People are saying this isn't, the Capitol building hasn't been stormed since 1812. And, that's quite a long time, but you've got tons of other things happening. Trump, bulldozing through Black Lives Matter protests just to do a photo op in front of a church. When you're tear gassing all these people, when you're shooting them with rubber bullets for protesting for their lives, but you can't call in the National Guard for your supporters storming the Capitol building with tons of elected officials inside of that same building that same day. That's ridiculous to me, and that says a lot about who he is and what he knows that he's doing and how he plans to leave this country before he left the presidency.
Yeah. Now, when let me, I was trying to figure out what I was about to say. Well, no, the thing is, even when it came to those supporters that they locked up, they tried to like have their like privilege being, you know, put in place, right? So I remember I was reading this article that one of the protesters, and if you guys have seen a picture, he kind of wore like this yak buffalo sort of thing.
And he had the face paint and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They were basically saying like his wife or something like that. Oh, the prison doesn't, you know, they're not feeding him well, and oh, you know, he's not eating well. Dude, you're in a prison. You're not in like you're not in Golden Corral, or you're not in a 5-star restaurant where, oh, I can, you know, exude wherever I can go. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where it's like I can eat whatever. And then, like Ayana was saying, the United States of America is basically built on other people's misfortunes and other people's injustices. You know, let's think about it. The entire land was originally Native Americans, you know, took that shit from them, brought over slaves from, I believe, West Africa, took their whole identity, everything that they were brought up, and put them to work. I remember reading an article in my history class one time when I was in middle school that they put like Japanese people in internment camps, similar to like concentration camps, after Pearl Harbor. America was built on the foundation of everyone's pain. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's pain. Even now with police brutality against black people, like if you watch certain speeches from like the 60s of the, you know, the Black Panther Party and Huey P. Newton and all that, they're basically saying the exact same stuff, asking the exact same thing that we want right now, which is an immediate end to police brutality. Even the chants during like the Rodney King, you know, riots, eerily similar to now: no justice, no peace. Does that sound familiar? With George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, all that type of stuff. And I just don't like the fact that these supporters, they literally try to pull their white privilege card literally like out of their ass, basically. Like, you are literally just like everyone else. Like, they're treating you like how we are treated now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember I was watching this video where one of his supporters got arrested, and he blatantly just said, "You're treating me like an effing black person." And I'm just like, the amount of like ignorance and literally the amount of just stupidity that plagues America is disgusting, in my opinion.
Yeah. But it only proves that they're not blind to our struggle. They just choose not to want to acknowledge it. Because they acknowledge it when they're put in handcuffs like we are, but they don't want to acknowledge it when we're asking for justice. And then when we ask for them to get similar treatment to us, they say we want them to get hurt too. We just simply want the same treatment.
Definitely.
And it's heartbreaking to see, you know, my people of all shades, all from different backgrounds, being treated like they're garbage on the side of the road for centuries on end. And when things like this happen, it's just further proof of the true privilege that white people have. They'll always say, "Oh, I grew up poor. I grew up with nothing. I don't have any privilege. You don't know what you're talking about." Privilege is not the absence of things. Privilege doesn't mean I didn't grow up with a fancy house. I didn't grow up with all these things. I didn't grow up with things handed to me. Privilege means that you don't have to worry about losing your life the moment you walk out of your door. Exactly. You don't have to worry about walking into a convenience store just wanting to get some food for your family only to be gunned down because you were mistaken for the wrong person, but you fit the profile. You don't have to worry about walking out in the cold with your hands in your pockets, hood on your head, because it's freezing outside and being gunned down for minding your business. Right. To have privilege is to not have to worry about anything. white people don't have to worry about, oh, is my tail light out? Is anything wrong with my car? Because the moment I get pulled over for something, even if it's something that I didn't do, there's a chance that I could lose my life. There is not an instance, not a moment in history where they have to worry about something like that. And these recent events with Capitol Hill just proves that they know that they have free reign in this country. They know that they can do anything and they can get away with just about anything. They were so surprised when people started getting arrested. I didn't think that I could get arrested. I didn't think that they were gonna start arresting us because we didn't do anything wrong. You stormed the Capitol building with assault rifles and pipe bombs. What did you think was gonna happen to you? It's ridiculous, and it's sad. It's sad that this is the reality of our country, and the ones who are doing it are the ones who can't even see it. They don't know what they know what they're doing, but they choose not to change their behavior. They choose not to change history. They choose not to be better than where they come from, and that's the problem.
Definitely. Now, I remember when I watched a video of one of the supporters, I'm guessing, getting arrested, and it was like, damn, they treating them like how black people would get arrested. Like these two like big burly dudes were arresting this, handcuffing this one girl. I think you can see it on like TikTok or something. And then this one white lady was like getting hog tied, basically like you get handcuffed by your arms and legs and they just carry you out like a purse. And I was just thinking to myself, damn. But even like Ayana was saying, you know, white people really don't have to worry about certain stuff like that. Like even with me wearing a black hoodie, you know, people automatically think, oh, you a robber, you're a thug and all that. But when a white person wears it, oh, it's a fashion statement. Oh, they're doing, you know, they're being experimental and all that type of stuff. Or even with wearing baggy clothes, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you've seen artists like Billie Eilish wearing baggy clothes, but when a black person wears it, it's like, oh, they're ghetto, they're sort of
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. Man, and it's crazy how history sort of like repeats itself. You know what I'm saying? Because like I mentioned, earlier with the chants in the Rodney King protest, even down to the murder of young black kids like Tamir Rice and Trayvon Martin. I kind of think of that similar to Emmett Till. You know how I kind of metaphorically I kind of think of Emmett Till coming down to earth in the form of these young black people, and they constantly getting killed. And that's just crazy, you know. But yeah, even just the idea of when people say blue lives matter and all lives matter, I feel like they're pretty much just downgrading what our pain pretty
Oh,
much is.
definitely,
Definitely,
definitely.
yeah.
They take the movements that we create for ourselves and for our community to make sure that we get the justice that we rightfully deserve, and it's like they're mocking it.
Yeah.
I remember a month ago, somebody came into my DMs saying all lives matter. And I said, all lives can't matter until Black lives matter. And they said, so Black lives don't matter. It's like they run head straight into the point and still miss it.
Right.
Yeah.
All that we're stating is that we deserve to be treated the same way that you treat each other out in the streets, in corporations, in the workplace, in school, anywhere. We deserve to be treated like human beings because that's what we are. The only difference is that we have a different skin color. We may have different features. There's no defining thing that makes us any different than anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, I never understood the plight of Blue Lives Matter because Blue lives don't exist. That's not a thing. Blue lives aren't, they're not what Black lives represent. Blue lives is a police officer, someone in a uniform who has an occupation. You can take that uniform off and become you. You can be your regular self. You can go home to your family, do whatever it is you need to do. Black people can't stop being black.
Exactly.
Never. Black people cannot shed their skin and turn into a white person and receive that same privilege. We don't have that opportunity. We have to walk out of our houses every single day and be black.
Right.
Blue lives are not the proper comparison, they're not the proper representation that those people claim that it is. They're simply saying it because they feel as if someone in a uniform who signed up to do that job has more of a reason to live than a black person. If you can't stop someone for a routine traffic stop because they have a crack in their windshield, or if they have a broken tail light, or whatever the case may be, without killing them, you shouldn't be doing that job. You're not cut out to do that job. A
Yeah.
police officer's job is to protect and serve. You arrest people, you detain them, you put them in the back of your car, and you drive them to the station. After that, the justice system handles them. You are not the judge, the juror, and the executioner. You don't go out here and start shooting people because you feared for your life. If you feared for your life, why did you become a police officer?
Exactly.
Why would you? That doesn't even make any sense. That's like becoming a firefighter knowing that you have a fear of fire. What's the point then? I wouldn't become a doctor because I know I can't see. I'm gonna put other people's lives in danger simply because of a silly little dream that I have. That would never even begin to make sense. So for a police officer to make the excuse that they feared for their life so much that they had to kill another person, whether they're innocent or not, is absolutely beyond me. It's something that I'll never be able to comprehend.
Yeah. It's just because I like what you were saying, we still have to be black. Like, we can't change this. I can't change this. My parents couldn't change any of this. You know what I'm saying? And it makes you wonder, do I have to keep doing this for the rest of my life? Do I have to go out and, fear for my life every time? Like, I can't walk down the street and the paranoia that exists of, if a cop car just pulls right beside me. You know what I'm saying? Where am I going? Oh, you fit the description. Is this something that my children's children have to go through for their lives? You know what I'm saying? And even like Ayana was saying, there's nothing that makes us, like, no unique feature that makes us black. Like, I remember when I was in middle school, people used to make fun of me because I talked white, basically. The amount, like, ignorance and just toxicity that exists in these communities, it's just like, why are y'all so brainwashed on what, society made us, painted us out to be?
Mhm. And then the one thing that I just don't understand is people can't comprehend what privilege is. They don't understand that it's literally the notion that you're equal before you even let a word out of your mouth. We
Right.
have to prove that we're equal to you when we already should be equal.
Right. It could be.
There's no reason for us to have had to fight for 400 years to be equal to someone with simply a different skin color than us and still not acquire that equality. That's ridiculous.
Because even when everybody went all berserk with George Floyd, the George Floyd incident, I was thinking to myself, where's this energy at with Tamir Rice? Where's this energy at with Sandra Bland? Jacob Blake, John Garner, where Eric Garner, I meant, my fault, Eric Garner. Where was all this energy, all this support that companies, coming in saying, we support Black life? Of course, we all know they really don't give two shits
It's all
about us.
performative.
Right. Because they want to
They just
just
want our
keep
money.
making money. What are you saying, Kristen?
They just want our money.
Right.
Because we literally give them the most money. Like black money from Black people is literally funding almost every single business here.
Right.
If we pulled our money out of their businesses, they'd be bankrupt.
Exactly.
And they know that because they steal our trends, our hair, and everything about us.
Right.
We're literally their outline.
And I remember I was looking on Twitter that Disney even, posted the, we support Black lives and all that. And I'm just thinking to myself, this company was literally founded by somebody who made racist short films and stuff. You can literally go on YouTube and you'll see like old cartoons from like the 1930s about how black people literally looked like monkeys. Literally, they painted us out to look like animals and savages. Like I mentioned on the first episode of the Sin 25 podcast, I remember I used to watch like Tom and Jerry and Looney Tunes. They unapologetically showed that this is how we view you guys. We view you guys as the savages, as ignorant, as all that type of stuff. I just think it's stupid as hell. Now,
it's just sad.
Exactly. Now I want to ask you guys a quick one question. And the question is, do you all think that the world is finally waking up and seeing these issues that have plagued our nation for, centuries? And do you think that in the 2020s, in the 2020s, America will finally see what the problem actually was and actually give black people, proper justice, equal rights, and all that? I know John Ossoff, who was, elected a senator, he said he wants to pass a new civil rights bill to end police brutality and all that type of stuff. So, what are y'all's thoughts on that question I asked y'all?
I think that America has seen the problem. They know what the issue is, because if they didn't, they wouldn't have made all those amendments. They wouldn't have made all those policies to more or less cater to Black people so that they didn't seem so racist. They wouldn't have the, the 13th, 14th, all those things to make it seem like they're helping the Black community, because if they didn't know the problem, we'd probably still be slaves.
Exactly.
Nothing would have changed. White people in this country know what they're doing, and they know what they have been doing. But I think with this new age of social media and technology, there's a chance that something might actually be done about it. Back before we had, even before, MySpace, and we had these touchscreen phones, and all you'd have to call someone on a landline. Nobody would address the issue because there was no way to reach that audience who agreed with you. With Instagram and Twitter and all this other stuff, you're able to voice your opinion freely and have those who agree with you, connect with you and work with you and create a movement, do something for the community, and have it actually reach out and be broad and be broadcasted across multiple medias. And I think that with this new coming generation, there's a chance that things could be on the come up and these issues start really being addressed. But it's honestly a matter of whether we're fit to come together or not.
Kristen?
I definitely agree with that. We have more access to information than ever, but I'm not 100% sure that everyone's quite ready to come together, or if they ever actually will. Because even with the events that happened in like early 2020, due to like how people voted and everything, there were more people voting for Trump than the years previous. So it's like people are less blatant with their racism, but they still vote and put their money towards racist policies.
Mm-hmm.
They may not, just be outspoken about it, but they still think it.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be the main problem with actually solving the issues that we face every day in society, is that people aren't blatant about it. Before, you could call someone out on their racism because they would just outright say it. But now people have these little biases here and there. They'll say little snarky remarks, but it's less common for someone to outwardly call you a slur or
Yeah,
beat you for being this or that. It's going to be a lot harder to really distinguish who is and who isn't for us.
definitely. Even being beat up, because I remember reading about like gay rights and all the LGBT, Q plus rights. People used to get beat up for that, just the choice of their sexuality and all that. But yeah, to wrap this up because we got about 9 minutes left on the podcast. I definitely think that more people are going to be aware of these issues now because, like Ayana said, back in the day before all this social media stuff even existed, people weren't really, you know. I feel like a lot of people came from this very naive point of view because I remember when I was in 5th grade and my teacher was talking about the Trayvon Martin incident. And she asked me this question, me in the class, this question: do you think Dr. King's dream came true? I came from that naive point of view where I was like, yeah, it worked. He said the I have a dream speech and all that happened. Of course, I was a real idiot back in the day. But now it's like, nah, not. I mean, of course, we can be in the same restaurants and all that type of stuff. But as far as the end to police brutality and racial profiling, nah, it didn't. But yeah. Any final thoughts on episode 1?
I hope that this country can really come together in the waking years so that we can put an end to all this heartache and just fear, because that's really what it boils down to. Everybody's living in fear at this point. It's not even just Black people anymore. People are attacked for anything now, and it's starting to affect the Asian community with this whole coronavirus thing going on. And I'm hoping that the minority groups in this country will finally be able to come together and tackle the issues that we all face so that it's not as hard doing it individually.
Right. Kristen?
And I just want I honestly just hope that these white supremacists, these xenophobes, and these anti-Semitic people just wake up one day, because we have way too much life to live to be hating.
I know. Life is too damn short to hate on somebody.
Too short.
And that's me. But yeah, I just wanted to start off season 2 kind of on like a little serious note so that like everything, for the rest of the season, we could just talk about pretty much anything that, comes to our mind and all that type of stuff. But yeah, that wraps up episode 11 of the 1025 podcast. Thank y'all so much for helping me out. Thank you guys for watching the 1025 podcast. I'm Jordan along with Kristen and Ayana, and we'll see you next time. Peace.